Hey friendos, it's DW here. The GitHub Game Off Game Jam for 2019 is complete, and I didn't win, but that doesn't mean I didn't learn anything, and that doesn't mean I didn't have an awesome time, because I certainly did. And I actually took away about four key things that are going to impact how Car Scientist is going to be developed and rolled out over the next year or so. So let's talk about those four things, shall we? Hey friendos, so like I said earlier, the GitHub Game Off Game Jam for 2019 is complete as of January 1st, and all the ratings came in, and I didn't rank. That's cool. So for those that didn't know, I participated in the Game Off Game Jam for 2019, starting back in November 1st, and had a month to submit a game, and I did. I did Car Scientist, and that's been submitted. It's up on itch.io, which is the partner for the GitHub Game Off Game Jam. And I got it done. And then December was an entire month of letting the community rank and vote on the content. And I spent a bunch of time, as much time as I could, to rank them and stuff like that and play. And I reviewed my own feedback and stuff like that. But it was a good month of seeing what was going on in that community. And it was really cool to see what was happening in that ecosystem. I took away four major things that I think are great lessons for game jams, because I will do this again and I will watch my own video to remember what my great tips were. But they're also just great game development tips and they will impact how I think Car Scientist is going to be developed moving forward. So I want to take this game further. So I'm going to go through the four things, and then hopefully you can learn something from them too. So number 4. Take time to read and reflect on every comment. This is something that's probably pretty obvious. But I get this. I do a lot of public speaking as well. I've been doing public speaking in the tech area, in tech, for a long time. And you need to take time to reflect on the feedback you get, whether it's good or bad, and whether it's constructive or not. It's important to take that time. Now, if it's really hurting your feelings and stuff like that, self-care is number one. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to say is the fact that someone spent the time not only to play your game and share, not only did they take time to play your game, but they spent time providing feedback. That's extra time on top of actually playing it. So they spent time thinking about your game, what would actually, what they thought was good, what was bad, and they actually spent some time analyzing your game. They legit left you a game review. And whether it's constructive or not, maybe you got someone who's just leaving these trolly comments, wipe that away. There's going to be, especially in the game jam community, like from this GitHub one, it was a very constructive space. I mean, I had a game-breaking bug that locked the game for a user, for a player, and it sucks. I couldn't go in and fix it. You can't redeploy a new version once the deadline's done. Yet, they still spent the time to replay the game, and they completed it. Like, they actually talked about what they did, and they talked about, they compared it to another game that I was actually thinking about as well, and it was really cool. So that I wasn't thinking about as well, specifically To the Moon. I haven't played that game in years. And it was really nice to just kind of be reinforced in that. And the feedback they gave me was legit. All of the comments were absolutely valid. And I took them to heart, and I've spent a lot of time reflecting on them, and I've taken that into my design moving forward. And that's what's really important, is that someone spent time reviewing and reflecting their game, or my game. And when someone does spend that time, make sure you at least, the very least, thank them, but really think about what they're doing, especially when you're doing your first few game jams or you're getting yourself started. Number 3. Do the same thing. Pass it forward, pay it forward in a way. Participate in a game jam by playing and reviewing other people's games. So not only are you going to get great ideas out of this, like you're going to see other people's creative juices interpreting the theme or whatever. You're going to see other great content creators. And you don't have to compare yourself to them. It's great inspiration to see these people build this really cool stuff, and then you can provide them feedback. So there's a good opportunity there for you just to learn from what they've produced. But it also gives you an opportunity to have a conversation with them via either comments, or in this case, there's also a Discord. You are participating in the same community for a short period of time. And you have something in common with that person that gives you a bit of a bond or a bit of a link to actually open that door and say like, hey, like I love this idea. You know, everyone likes compliments. And if you reach out with like, I really love this idea, I'd love to understand like where did you come up with this? Is there any examples of gameplay you can think of? Or wow, I really love the graphics you've produced on this. Like what tools are you using? It's a great opportunity to have little conversations and ask a few questions. And you might not get answers every time, but it's probably the closest you're going to get to a international audience of game developers that are within the same realm as you, because they're all participating in the same thing you just did. Whether you're high experience or low experience, or whether you're a solo or a team, there's opportunity there to learn and share and converse and have discourse with multiple game developers, and it's a unique opportunity that game jams can provide. Number 2, spend time on your store page. I did not learn this at all, not until after the game jam, and at that point I realized it way too late. How I figured this out was I was playing other people's games, learning from them, and understanding what their games are, but I started to realize I was spending a lot of time looking at their game page. And I was playing a browser-based version a lot of the time, but even when I wasn't, I started off on their game page, reading about how they interpreted the theme, where they're coming from, a little bit about the developer, saw some nice screenshots, maybe a nice little video of what it should look like, and you know, just stuff like that. And I thought that it was, as a game jam submission, I thought of it, almost treated it like a computer science or a university assignment, you know, like homework. I got it done, I was really proud of myself, and I sent it in. But my store page was just like a one-liner blurb that actually didn't describe the game I ended up making, because the game mutated over time. You can see that in the devlogs. But then it was just the devlog links, a little post I put up at this devlog going like, oh, this is a great way to share my devlog experience. But I missed a huge opportunity to actually share people with what my thought process was, who I am, what this is doing, how I interpreted the theme, all those pieces that, you know, might not be obvious. There's opportunity to kind of to share that, but it also gives you an opportunity to practice on your store page. Your game will likely need a store page. If you go into game development and you start selling games, you're going to need storefronts. And this is a great chance for you to share it. And if you sell your game, maybe people will see that book and go, that sounds weird and quirky. I am going to spend the extra time. And in my case, you needed to download it. So, you know, that there's already a barrier to entry there. So if they think it looks interesting enough, maybe, just maybe, they might get past that just because your store page was a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fascinating than the others. And the number one thing I learned about a game jam is create a browser-based version. I'm a web tech guy for a long time. I've been web tech for forever, and the fact that I didn't produce a browser-based version is kind of ridiculous. I tried to, and I just got caught up in it. I was like, it's dumb. I got other things I want to finish up first. But once I submitted, I realized that there's this barrier to entry, like I mentioned previously, and this barrier to entry is a reason why someone may not play your game. And it's not because your game sucks, and it's not because you're not worth the effort, but it's because there's a lot of games to review, and getting yours working and downloading it is added time. If I'm limited to the time that I have in front of my computer to review your game, and I am, because I want to be making games, not necessarily just reviewing other people's games. I'm not trying to be a games journalist, I'm trying to be a game developer. Having a browser-based version makes it so much easier for someone to just load up your game page and then start playing. Everything's right there in the browser, on the desktop, or even in some cases, if you want to do it in mobile, try to get that to work. But it makes it way easier just to get that stuff going. And the fact that I didn't do that is ridiculous, but I didn't. And it is what it is. I've learned that, and moving forward in Car Scientist, I am definitely going to have a browser-based version for playtesting purposes and to getting it out there. Because rather than having people download and update fresh new release versions every day or week or month or whatever, you can just put the latest version up on the web. And and itch.io provides you the facility to do all that. On top of it, all the features you need are there. You know, it might not be the end version, but it's going to let you get feedback really quickly, and you could solicit feedback from a lot more people if you've got a browser-based version. You can just slide in front of them and go like, try it out right now. no install, just go. That's a huge advantage, and I don't know why I didn't think of that stuff, but I didn't, and now I've learned that lesson. And so that about does it for this vlog or video or whatever this is. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and have yourselves a pleasant day and or evening, and take care.